You've probably heard that the best way to fight a fire is to prevent it, and that's true. But accidents do happen and fires do start. When this occurs in your facility, you or a coworker will often be the first to respond, and fire extinguishers become the first line of defense. Fire extinguishers can enable you to act quickly and effectively to protect people and your facility. But first, you need to understand the equipment as well as how to use it. In this program, we'll discuss how a fire burns and what you can do to stop it. We'll also describe the different types of extinguishers that are available and walk through how you can use them to fight a fire in your facility safely and effectively. Fire extinguishers are designed to put out small fires before they grow out of control. But putting out fires with an extinguisher isn't always easy and can be dangerous if you go about it in the wrong way. To use an extinguisher effectively, it's helpful to know what causes things to burn. Fire always needs 3 ingredients: fuel, an oxidizer, and heat. The fuel is any material that will burn, including combustible solids such as wood, paper, cardboard, and some metals. Flammable and combustible liquids such as gasoline, toluene, and some solvents and cleaning solutions. And ignitable gases such as propane and natural gas. A fire must also involve an oxidizer. In most cases, atmospheric oxygen takes on this role. But there are some situations where an oxidizer, such as fluorine or chlorine, combined with heat and fuel, can lead to a fire too. Regardless of the type of oxidizer, the more of it a fire has, the better it can burn, which is why fanning a fire makes it flare up. The third element that a fire needs is heat, a source of ignition, such as a match or an electric spark, that lights it and keeps it burning. The best way to put a fire out is to deprive it of oxygen or heat. That is what fire extinguishers are designed to do. Though they may look more or less the same, all fires are not alike. The types of materials that are burning and the location of the fire determine how they behave and how you should try to put them out. Fire extinguishers work by applying substances called fire retardants. They can cool a fire, deprive it of oxygen, a process known as smothering, or they can do both. But using the wrong type of retardant on a fire can make a bad situation even worse. For example, an air pressurized water extinguisher will do a great job of putting out burning cardboard. But using a water extinguisher on burning liquids will only spread the fire further. And since water conducts electricity, you wouldn't want to use it on a fire that is burning in or around electrical equipment, because someone could be electrocuted. To make it easier to distinguish between different types of fires and determine what type of extinguisher should be used on them, fires have been divided into classes. Class A fires involve everyday solid combustibles like paper, cardboard, and wood. Extinguishers that discharge water, foam, and some dry chemical agents can be used on this class of fires. Class B fires involve flammable gases, liquids, and some plastics. Extinguishers that discharge dry chemicals, foam, and carbon dioxide should be used on these. Class C fires involve electricity and can occur in any type of electrical equipment. Extinguishers that apply non-conductive substances, such as carbon dioxide and dry chemicals, must be used on Class C fires. Class D fires involve combustible metals, such as aluminum and titanium, which are often used in implants. It's rare for these metals to be exposed to the heat necessary to start a fire, but when they can be dangerous to extinguish. So if you do encounter one, don't try to put it out unless you have been specifically trained to do so. Class K fires involve cooking-related materials, such as cooking oil, grease, and animal fats. They spread quickly and can be difficult to manage. So if you are working in a kitchen or cafeteria, be cautious. The labels on fire extinguishers are always marked with the classes of fires they should be used on. Sometimes they also display pictographs that illustrate the classes. It's important to pay close attention to this information, as many extinguishers are designed to put out multiple classes of fires. So you can see why you need to know what types of fires could occur at your facility and what extinguishers you should use to fight them. Talk to your supervisor if you have questions. The fire extinguishers in your facility need to be appropriate for the classes of fires that are most likely to occur there. Since healthcare facilities can contain paper, flammable liquids, and electrical equipment, they should be equipped with extinguishers that are rated for Class A, B, and C fires. Since many facilities have this combination of substances, multi-purpose dry chemical ABC fire extinguishers are by far the most popular type of extinguisher in use today. These extinguishers use a chemical called monoammonium phosphate that coats the fuel and smothers the fire. But the residue that ABC extinguishers leave behind is not only hard to clean up, it's also mildly corrosive. So they should only be deployed when there is the real possibility of Class A fires occurring. Certain extinguishers can destroy some types of equipment that is used in healthcare facilities. So you need to know the right type of extinguisher to have for each area you work in. In kitchens, cafeterias, or any other cooking area where there is the possibility of oil or grease fires, there should be a Type K portable extinguisher readily available. Dry chemical extinguishers that are rated for Class B and C fires discharge sodium bicarbonate, also called baking soda, which is non-corrosive and easy to sweep up. So these extinguishers are preferable when fighting B and C class fires. The heat from a fire causes the baking soda to release carbon dioxide gas, which smothers the fire. Its residue also forms a barrier between the fuel and oxygen, so that the fire won't reignite. Carbon dioxide CO2 extinguishers are another type of extinguisher that is rated for Class B and C fires, and they don't leave any residue. They're especially good for use in computer rooms and other areas that contain electronics or other delicate equipment. But while CO2 can smother a fire effectively, it also tends to disperse into the atmosphere very quickly. As a result, a blaze that has not been completely extinguished could easily reignite. So if you're using a CO2 extinguisher, you need to watch closely to make sure that the fire is really out. Since different areas of healthcare facilities have different types of hazards and extinguishing requirements, the National Fire Prevention Association, NFPA, provides guidelines for what types of extinguishers to place around your facility in NFPA 99. When a fire needs to be extinguished, our first instinct can often be to douse it with water. In fact, water and water-based foams are good at putting out some types of fires, but can be very dangerous if they are used on others. While water is a convenient and effective retardant for putting out Class A fires, it cannot be used safely on Class B fires that involve burning liquids. or Class C fires that occur in or near electrical equipment. So most water extinguishers have been replaced by dry chemical ABC equipment. But dry chemicals don't work well on some Class A fuels. For example, they can't reach the burning embers within a stack of paper or a pile of sawdust. But water can soak into these materials to extinguish the fire. So water extinguishers still have some uses. Extinguishers that discharge water-based foams are usually rated for Class A and Class B fires, though not for Class C. Foam retardants blanket burning materials to cut off their oxygen supply. As a result, foam extinguishers can do a good job of putting out burning liquids. Foam extinguishers can also be used to cover spills of flammable liquids to prevent them from catching fire. There are a number of other types of fire extinguishers that are designed to be used in specific environments and to put out specific types of fires. Ask your supervisor about what extinguishers are appropriate for your facility and duties. While it's important to act quickly in a fire emergency, there are several things you should do before you reach for a fire extinguisher. First, make sure the fire alarm has been activated or pull it yourself. Then help other people and patients evacuate the area, especially anyone who is disabled, sick, or injured. And close nearby doors and windows that could feed the fire with oxygen. A large fire, or one that has spread into ceilings or walls, may already be too dangerous for you to fight. Smoky fires can be very hazardous as well. Smoke inhalation kills more people than flames do. In these cases, you should leave the area and let professional firefighters handle things. But if you feel that it's safe to try and combat a fire, grab the closest extinguisher and check its label to make sure it's the right type to use in the situation. Make sure that you have a clear escape route in case you need one. Position yourself within the effective range that is marked on the extinguisher's label. For most dry chemical ABC extinguishers, it will be about 6 to 8 feet. Hold the extinguisher upright. Even under the stress of fighting a fire, you can make sure you use the extinguisher correctly by remembering the word PASS. It spells out the 4 steps you should take. Pull the extinguisher's pin. Aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. Squeeze the trigger. And sweep from side to side with a slow, steady motion. Remember that retardants cool and smother a fire by working on its fuel. So keep the nozzle of the extinguisher pointed at the base of the fire, not the flames. If you are dealing with flammable liquids, be careful not to splash the spill. That will only cause the fire to spread. As the fire gets smaller, step forward to stay within the extinguisher's effective range. But don't get too close and be careful where you walk. If fighting the fire is creating a lot of smoke, crouch down near the ground. There will be more fresh air there, and it will be easier to see. Most portable dry chemical extinguishers provide about 10 to 15 seconds worth of continuous spraying. Once the extinguisher is empty, leave it in an out-of-the-way area so no one will trip over it. And place the extinguisher on its side so others will not try to use it. Then get yourself to safety, even if the fire appears to have been extinguished. When something in a healthcare facility is burning, seconds count. So fire extinguishers should be kept in all work areas where a fire might occur, in a place where they're easy to find. They also need to be fully charged and functional. OSHA regulations, state ordinances, and local fire codes require industrial facilities, offices, including healthcare facilities, and public buildings to place portable fire extinguishers near all potential fire hazards. The Department of Transportation requires that all commercial vehicles be equipped with extinguishers as well. Extinguishers should be mounted on hangers or in marked fire extinguisher cabinets where they can be clearly seen. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, also has guidelines for mounting your extinguisher. The bottom of the extinguisher should be at least 4 inches off the ground. If the extinguisher is over 40 pounds, the top of the extinguisher should be no more than 3.5 feet off the ground. If the extinguisher is less than 40 pounds, the top of it should be no more than 5 feet off the ground. Never store an extinguisher on the floor, in a closet, or behind furniture, plants, or decorations. When a fire is burning, you don't want to have to search for one. You also need to be sure that all of the fire extinguishers in your facility work. So regular inspections and maintenance of the equipment should be an important part of your fire prevention program. Extinguishers should be checked at least once a month to verify that they are in working order. Any that are located outdoors should be inspected every week. As you inspect an extinguisher, you should check that the pressure gauge indicates that it is fully charged. The locking pin and plastic tamper seal are in place. The hose and horn are undamaged and unobstructed, and all metal parts are free of corrosion. Fire codes require extinguishers to be inspected by an authorized service technician annually, and to have their cylinders pressure tested at regular intervals as well. The service tag on the extinguisher will show when it's due for its next professional inspection. As we've seen, fire extinguishers can help you protect property and lives when fire threatens a healthcare facility, but only when you understand the hazards of workplace fires and know how to use extinguishers safely and effectively. Let's review. Fires need fuel and oxidizer, such as oxygen and heat, to burn. Take one of these elements away and you put out the fire. Fires have been organized into classes to help you choose the right extinguisher to use with them. You should know the fire hazards in your workplace, the classes of fires that can potentially occur, and the types of extinguishers you should use on them. Fire extinguishers should be inspected regularly and maintained in good working order. When you're fighting a fire with an extinguisher, remember the pass method. Fire extinguishers can provide a secure and reliable defense against fires in your workplace, so you need to know how to use them. Now that you understand how fire extinguishers work and know how to use them effectively, you can help make your facility a safer place for yourself, your patients, and your coworkers if a fire ever does occur.